Heyla, so I have been spending the last month and a half messing around with Pixel Game Maker. A friend of mine, a good friend of mine, had gotten me Pixel Game Maker about a year ago as a gift. When I told them that I had some game ideas that I think Pixel Game Maker would be perfect for, and they bought it for me as a gift to pursue my dreams. So here I am doing just that. Yeah, it took me a year and a half to really get around to really looking at Pixel Game Maker because I was involved in other projects. But now that I've actually sat down and looked at it, I found that Pixel Game Maker is actually really cool. Um, it's a really nifty game maker. It's been a month and a half since I've really seriously started playing with it, and I've made some progress in getting my RPG template done. So that's what I'm going to show off. So here's my first thing that I did. I did a title screen. It has a menu. Lets you start a new game, obviously. Load game and controls. All it does is let you view what the controls do. Um, so the controller, the control key name, and control different controllers, um, and their correspondences. Right now, I'm using mouse and keyboard, so this is where most of the stuff that I'm using is going to come into play. Um, this is the general correspondences. Eventually, once I've ironed out what does what, I'm going to make a second page that tells you, okay, what's the OK button do? Not the OK button, but like how to access inventory, how to use the attacks, and all of that good stuff. Um, but I still haven't quite figured out what's gonna do what. So right now I just have a placeholder page. Press escape and escape again. I have an options that lets me lower or raise the increase or decrease the volume of the background music or sound effects. I don't have any background music on, so I haven't really messed with the background music yet, so the BGM settings don't do much of anything. Escape. And then I can load the game. And these are just fillers right now. Like I said, this is just a template for when I actually make the couple of games that I have in mind. So I'm setting up the template, all the background stuff, so that way it's just about putting in the images, the resources, and whatnot to make it an actual individual game. So yeah, you can choose what slot to load up. I'm not gonna load the game though. I do have a game file saved, but I'm not gonna load it up because I want to start a new game. And here's where the game begins, the prologue. And after the prologue, just click through it. Um, you get your character creation, character customization screen. Here you get to pick your character body type and skin tone. It ranges from dark, tan, light and pale skin tones. And as you can see, you have the female body. You have the gender neutral body. And you have the male body. So I'm going to pick dark skin female. Click next. And now you get to choose your uniform color. Right now it's just jumpsuits. That'll probably change for the actual game. But this is what I had on hand. And I didn't want to draw whole outfits just for the template. So you can choose any color: white, red, orange, yellow, green, blue, purple, black. I'm going to go with blue. Hit the next arrow. Create your character a hairstyle and color. So I only have 3 hairstyles in 4 colors. I have the long hairstyle, the ponytail, and short hair. I have it in black, blonde, brown, and red. I'm going to choose black ponytail. And do you want to accept the custom character and begin game? Yes. Yes, I do. Now, for some reason, I've got the mouse set up in this game. So you can actually use the mouse. I don't know if you've noticed, but I've been using the mouse to click on the various icon buttons. Now, when you get the choice select screen, where you can choose yes or no, that can only be choosing between it. Scrolling between it needs to be done with the arrow keys or the up down keys from WASD. Yeah. So to go no, you gotta press down, and then you can use the mouse button, the left click, to confirm no. And if you choose no, it doesn't do anything. It keeps you in the character customization screen, so you can check to see. It's like, oh, I didn't like the hair. Or if you want to go back a few screens, you can go back to the title screen. Or if you decide you want a different... Oops, I did that. Yeah, I made that same mistake. I keep thinking I can use a mouse for that. But, so if you hit escape and then use the arrow buttons, you can choose to resume, which leaves you in the screen you're at, or go to the uniform color selection screen, or the body and skin tone selection screen, or, as we saw, the title screen. So if I wanted to go to the uniform color, it takes me back to uniform color, and I could be like, oh no, I wanted purple, but no, I want blue. And I will take the black ponytail. Accept custom character and begin game. Yes. And here's the game. And all of these squares here that are scattered around are supposed to represent items. Now, it doesn't matter what order you get the items in. It's just going to put the items in the next available slot. So the first slot here was available, so it put the item picture of what I had gotten in this particular slot. I don't have to choose the red one. I can choose a blue one if I want it. It'll put it in the second spot. Now in the actual game, because what the bottom slots are is actually the hotbar. It's the hotbar where you can activate the items without having to do much of anything. You just either you scroll using the R1 and L1 buttons on your controller, or you scroll down on your mouse button, or you can take the mouse and select there, and then you press the equivalent of the B button, I believe. I think it's a B button on the controller. On the mouse, it's right click and it activates the object. And as you can see, the number of the particular item went down. You can do it here. Second object activated, and now it's at 2. You can also activate it on the keyboard through shortcut buttons. The keys 1 through 0 above the alphabet keys. So if I hit 1, it activates the first slot. Hit 2, it activates the second slot. And then if I use the second slot again, it is now empty and I can collect these items. Now, there is a proper inventory setup, and you access that by pressing the I key on the keyboard, which brings up the main menu. I believe it is on the Switch controller, I know it's the X button. I believe on the other controllers, like the Xbox controller, it's the Y button. I basically am using the controller as far as using the controller as a guide, using the Switch setup. Since I have the Switch, I don't have an Xbox or a PlayStation, so it's a little hard to test for that. I do have a Microsoft USB controller for my computer, so I've been kind of testing it through that. But I've mostly been matching it up to Switch controllers since that's what I'm most familiar with as far as consoles go. So as you can see in the main menu, you can scroll through all the different things. Again, options, controls, load, and you can save the game. And then you can access the inventory. So here's the inventory. Right now there's nothing in the inventory slots. That's because right now I have it set up so that the little item objects are in the hotbar, but that's going to change when the game starts. They're going to be actually in the inventory slots. So that's the plan. I just haven't changed it yet. Now, if you want to put these items in the inventory, you hit the O key, or it's going to be the Y key on the Switch, the X key on the Xbox controller, and you use that to drag the item to the slot. You can switch places. And which slot it's in will determine what it does. Like for this little dot item here, it's in the first shortcut bar, so I press 1 and it activates the object. Hit the O key or the Y key on Switch or the X key on Xbox, and I can drag it into here. And the left mouse button or the OK button on the controllers will bring this up if you use it in the actual inventory proper. So you have the choice to use item, resume, or discard item. So you can use the item, and there we go, activated the object. You can resume, and all it does is just go back to the inventory, just doesn't do anything. That's basically, oh, I didn't want to do that, so go back. Or you can hit escape. That does it too. Or you can discard the item completely. So if you wanted to clear your inventory slot of the item, you can discard it. Go to discard, and it empties a slot. So that's the inventory. To get out of the inventory, you hit escape, which brings you back to the main menu. Hit escape again, or the cancel button on the controllers. And here's the next room. It has this square here. This is representing an enemy. Hit the A button or the left mouse button. The A button on the controller, or the A button on the controller, or the B button on the Switch controller. And it'll activate the attack. And the square disappears. So this is what I've got so far. Go back in the room and all the little items are back because I had them set up to come back on this change of the scene. And so just collecting the item. Now since both slots have been full, if you try to get another item, all inventory slots are full. You get that message. Go to the inventory. And you see that the inventory slots are full. So if you wanted to make room for that other item, you can choose to discard one of these. Let's discard this one. Escape, escape. And now I can collect this item. And there it is. And now I can use it. Second object activated. Or alternatively, drag it into the hotbar and use the shortcut keys or any of the other keys to activate it. And there you go. So that's what I've got so far. I'm going to work on making a more fuller inventory system. Basically set it up so that, as you can see, I have gear, items, and key items. I'm going to set it up so that there are slots just for gear, slots just for items, and slots just for key items. And when you move the items around, depending on what kind of object it is, it can either only go into the item slot, or the gear slot, or the key item slot. So that's my plan, and once I have the inventory system fully plotted out, I plan to work on a few other things like stats and spells, and how melee and ranged attacks work. But this is what I've got so far, and I'm pretty happy with it. Thanks for watching.